All right, welcome. Today is Thursday. I'm Carlton Brown. Welcome to my live event that I do weekly every Thursday. It's 1:05. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm Carlton Brown of Carlton Brown Coaching. And each Thursday, I come online and I share tips and strategies that are going to help you as an individual or help you within your organization navigate the confusion and stress that comes with transition and change. In the end, my goal is to give you the tips and strategies that are going to have you have the energy to enjoy the moments that matter. So, as a personal development and life transition specialist, what I really want to do is just empower you today. And today's topic is specifically for the transition and change that we often overlook. And what I'm talking about aging, growing old. Growing old. So, in many respects, growing old shows up for many of us in some very subtle ways. Sometimes it's our mindset or it's our body that show this change first, but eventually it gets to shifting in our beliefs as well. So as we think about these subtle changes, sometimes, again, more subtle than others, things happen. But today's tips and strategies are really going to try to empower you to allow these changes to occur, but just be more graceful in the aging process. All right. So let's think about it for a second. When we talk about aging, it's really something that can show up again in very minute ways. Sometimes it's as simple as you see your taste change, you see your taste buds change. But like I had a friend of mine say she found herself going to a restaurant and ordering pickled beets out of all things. Like it's really some subtle things. For me, it was wiping and cleaning baseboards. Like, yeah, I cleaned the house, but when did I care about cleaning baseboards? Or just little minute things that show up that give you a sign that, hey, I'm changing. I'm getting a little more old in the way I think or in the way I kind of just envision this particular experience of life, right? And then there's the other side, that other side being like your body goes through a shift or a change and your knee becomes the weather barometer and lets you know like rain's coming or you can't run as much as you used to. So now you're on the treadmill and you're having to walk instead of run. And you just like, since when did that happen? But gradually we have these changes and they're not all bad as it seems, right? There are some changes that just have come over time, but when they do show up, where we feel the conflict is a lot of times in our mind, right? So we start to think about that. We start to realize and recognize that, oh man, we're not as young as we used to. We can't do the exact same things. And there's a settling in mentally that doesn't allow us to just bring the energy like we used to. And it can be very sad or, not as encouraging as most people want to experience it. So today's tips are really trying to make sure that you have that understanding that it's going to come, but when it does come, why can't we enjoy those moments and really step into it fully? So 3 tips that are going to allow us to really step into the aging process and do so with some grace, on ourselves, as well as be more understanding of what's actually occurring. So the first tip that I'm gonna share with you is really, it's good for any stage of life, but the truth is as you start navigating the different changes that come, it's really gonna help you just be empowered. And that's really coming to the mindset that you wanna practice more present-minded. So you want to form a habit of being more present in the experience. The reason why that's important for when you're aging is that a lot of the conversation that you're having internally with yourself is about the expectations that you've placed on yourself or the expectations that others have placed on you and comparing that to where you currently are, right? So in the end, if you start looking back and you're saying, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or, oh, I wish I would have done, or I should have did this, you'll should yourself to death in many respects, because it's in those shouldas and wouldas and couldas where we start to really pressurize the current situation and lose our ability to just enjoy that for what it is. So the first thing we're going to tell you to do is focus on the present moment, focus on creating and developing the habit of being more present minded. All right. Now, the second tip that I would say really does take a lot of strength, and that is to embrace the moments, embrace this stage, embrace who you're becoming at this current moment, at this current time. Again, when you think about all that's coming and all that you experience, there is this natural inclination to just resist and reject that. But in that initial reaction, right, resisting it creates greater resistance mentally to not want to believe that, you know what, you are moving a little slower than you used to. But it doesn't mean you can't be more effective in the slower pace that you're applying. Or it doesn't mean that you can't bring a greater sense of, or have a greater sense of enjoyment in the fact that you're moving slower. You may be able to smell the roses from a career trajectory now, or maybe are in a better position to just be who you are, from who you want it to be as an individual, and show up exactly as you want to show up versus being something that you think is going to please other people, right? So this is a great chance for you to, once you focus on the present moment, just embrace who you're showing up as, embrace this time with the ability to say, I can learn something here. I can be more aware of what I can and can't do, and I can find a way to make those strengths for me, right? So embrace this change, embrace the shift that's occurring, because it doesn't have to be framed as, oh, this is bad, this is negative, it's occurring. It can be framed that this is occurring, but this could be a great chance for me to do something else or to enjoy something more fully. So embrace it, all right? And then the third tip I would say, I learned this concept from trying to summit a mountain. And I would describe it as building a base camp. You are really going through a journey in life. And it doesn't have to mean that you're trying to summit something, but in many respects, just like in mountaineering, to go from the start to the summit to this highest peak, and more often than not, they establish a base camp. And it's in this location that is more than halfway up the mountain. The base camp is there to support you. It allows you to get a sense of community, camaraderie with other climbers who are on the same journey or on the same stage of journey. You also get a chance to talk to others who have passed that stage and have went and possibly experienced the summit. And now they can share with you their learnings to make sure that your trip is as great as you want it to be, right? But it also serves as a place where you check in with yourself. You do the inventory of the equipment that you have. You do the checks and balances on the food that you're taking in, your body, how you're feeling. You also get to just take a moment to get acclimated to the surroundings and to the environment itself, because if you skip base camp, chances are you're not going to be able to adjust to the altitude all the way up to the summit of the mountain. But that's why base camp's there. So I use base camp as a way to say, hey, you have a chance in this moment to build a base camp, which is a community of support. Build a community of support that's going to help you in this particular stage in your life, to where you hear the stories of others who have navigated something similar, or they may be navigating something similar, very much like you, and you maybe can create a partner in crime and not go it alone. But also, when you do have that support, you can get the wind behind your sails to go further. You can also just check in to make sure that you're super aligned to the goals or the vision that you want to achieve for this stage in life. And not just fill it out as we go, and not just try to always be in a reactionary state to make it work for you, regardless of where you land and regardless of where you are. No, you can be very intentional with this time, and just make it more meaningful with the energy that you have, right? So I would say build a base camp, build that community of support, and just really utilize that to carry you forward, right? So in recap, aging is something that we're blessed to really experience, because we've all navigated life, and we've all seen that some of our very close family members, our loved ones, our friends, even associates, may not have made it this far to a point in life to where they can really age, and they may have went on before us and passed away or had their lives taken away to an extent. So the fact that we're here and we're able to experience it, that means we can be very intentional of how we want this experience to feel. And by focusing on the present moment, embracing the fact that we're changing, our mindset's changing, our behaviors may change to match our mindset, and which is going to eventually change our belief system to some extent too. It's really that. And then again, to do that with a community of support and try to develop some community along this stage of journey, we're really going to see our energy shift where we can enjoy the moments that matter most for this particular stage of life. All right. So with those 3 tips, I end my time with you today. If you would love to learn more about myself and the services I provide, please stop by carltonbrowncoaching.com and fill out a form where I will easily get back to you, share with you any type of events that I have upcoming, whether they're live or on Zoom, invite you to those things. But also, you can tell me if you would love to partner on any workshops or seminars, as that's something we do provide and touch base on. But as I say, until next week, do what you're doing best, and that's love on yourself and enjoying these moments that matter. And thank you for joining me today. All right. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.